The Indiana Hoosiers basketball season is on the line against Northwestern this weekend.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you making this your first listen each and every day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Happy Friday. Thanks so much for being here, whether you're on the audio platforms where we are free and available, or if you're on YouTube where we're free as well. You can like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is free, helps us grow, and you can become a part of the Locked On Hoosiers family. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Indiana hosting Northwestern on Sunday. And yes, I said it. The season is on the line this weekend. On Sunday, this is by far, as of right now, the biggest game of the year. Why? Because every game from this point on is the biggest game of the year. We've got a full preview coming up for you. Keys to the game. Also, a top 25 point guard's going to be here this weekend. We'll talk about him a little bit and what this weekend could mean and how some of these games help Indiana in recruiting moving forward down the stretch of this season. So that's what's coming up here on Locked On Hoosiers today. Hoosiers hosting the Cats. Northwestern comes to town. When you look at Northwestern, 17-8 overall, 8-6 in conference play. Indiana sitting at 14-10 and 6-7 in conference play. And we have to start, when we start talking about this Northwestern team, before we get to keys, you have to talk about the news from just a couple of days ago. Their guard, Ty Berry, tore his meniscus and is out for the rest of the season, is what Northwestern announced. He underwent successful surgery and is expected to make a full recovery. So thoughts and prayers up to him. That is just, it's horrible. That's a terrible, terrible injury and thing to happen to such a unique and crucial player to Northwestern. I'll break down his stats, but then just by watching him, you can tell the guy is a player. He averages 30 minutes a game, 12 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.5 steals, shoots 45% from the floor. He's one of their better shooters, 89% from the free throw line, and 43% from behind the arc. And when it comes to a volume shooter from the three-point line, he was their best one by far. And man, you just watch him, and there's been a very little time that he hasn't played this year, just a couple of games that he didn't play, and Northwestern didn't look good at all. They're a completely different team offensively, defensively, and just in their scheme. And so, look, it's a terrible situation, and you hate to see it, but nobody knows injuries more than we do at Indiana. We've dealt with it all season long. Indiana has to take advantage. And I know that's a tough thing to say, but it is what it is, right? The guy's hurt. He's not going to play. Northwestern will be down a guy. We're going to be down a guy. So let's play some basketball. This makes Northwestern a different team. That takes off one of their 4 double-digit scorers. You're taking 12 points off the board for them automatically for a team that averages just 74 a game. So Indiana has a really good chance to play some solid defense, play a low-scoring game, and maybe it is the first team to hit 70 or 75. And good thing is, we're at home. We're at home. We get a chance to come back to Assembly Hall and play against a good team. Now, is Northwestern technically a quad 1 win? No, because they are 60 in the net rankings, and since we are home, it has to be a top 30 team in the net for it to be a quad 1 win. But you know what? I don't really care about that, because the only reason Northwestern's down that far is because they have a quad 4 loss. Yes, a quad 4 loss to Chicago State all the way back at the beginning of the year in the first couple of games. So that is weighing them down heavily. They are 4-5. against quad 1 teams, 4-2 in quad 2, and then that one loss in quad 4, which is just wild to me. So if this was at Northwestern, it would be a quad 1 win, right? It's top 30 at home, top 50 neutral site, and top 70 on the road. But here's what's more important to me. Northwestern's an NCAA tournament team right now. They're in. Now, they're kind of hanging on by a thread and could very easily fall out with the injury to Ty Berry and with a tougher schedule down the stretch here. But as of right now, they are an NCAA tournament team, which tells me that Indiana has to take care of business. The season's on the line because this is a good basketball team that you're playing. This is an opportunity to get a good win, a resume-building win, that thing we talked about yesterday. Northwestern's a 9 seed right now in the NCAA tournament in the South region in Memphis, playing St. Mary's, Houston, or Sam Houston State. They're in there as a 9 seed. So, no, it's not technically a quad 1 win, but it's a tournament win if Indiana decides to go out and get it done. That's what's important here. Indiana doesn't have those. They don't have those right now. And this is a great start for Indiana to do that in this run of games that we're about to go on. We've talked about it. You have Northwestern, tournament team. Wisconsin, tournament team. Michigan State, tournament team. And I believe Nebraska's floating around in here somewhere. I think. Yeah, they are. They're a 10 seed. Another tournament team. So the Hoosiers have chances. And it starts on Sunday. You're back home, a place that you typically play better, but you have not defended as well as you should have. And I'm saying defending home floor. I'm not just saying defending in the game. I'm saying you have not defended Assembly Hall very well this season at all. So let's turn that around. Let's fix that narrative, and let's get back to playing Indiana basketball in the toughest place to play in the country in Assembly Hall when the 9 seed Northwestern Wildcats come to Bloomington on Sunday afternoon. Well, coming up on Locked On Hoosiers, we'll tell you the keys to the game. What do the Hoosiers have to do to beat Northwestern this weekend? We gave you a big one with Ty Berry being out, but we'll get to some more of those, plus a top 2025 point guard coming to Bloomington this weekend as well. All that coming up on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports books, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. There are tons of college basketball this weekend. You can bet on that. The NBA All-Star Game. It's getting into golf season, so you can bet on that if you're into that. Whatever you want. Go to FanDuel, bet $5 on something you're confident in, and if it wins, they're going to give you $150 for free. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen each and every day. And this is also your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics, so thank you for making that so. Keys to the game on Sunday as Indiana is hosting Northwestern. We mentioned already about Ty Berry being out for Northwestern. That's 12 points off the board immediately. That's one of their go-to guys they run their offense through. That is crucial. And what that tells me is a couple of things. Is Indiana has, with their guards, a little less stress when it comes to the defensive side of the floor. Now, you still have to guard Boo Buie, who is a stud, who is such an exciting player. And, man, let me tell you this. If we had Boo Buie, we'd be a dangerous team. He would make us that much better. He makes any team that much better. Man, I remember watching him last year in the NCAA tournament and just lighting it up. He's just a guy that when he gets hot, he's hot and can make plays, can do whatever he wants on the basketball floor. It really is unbelievable. So Indiana's got to find a way to slow down the 19 points per game score. And I say slow down. I didn't say stop. I said slow down because you're not going to stop him. And especially now with one of their leading guards not playing, yeah, he's going to have a lot of pressure on him because you've got him and you've got Brooks Barnheiser, who scores 14 points a game, and then Ryan Langborg, who scores almost 12 points a game as well. That's kind of all they got. They got some other guys that sprinkle some points in there every now and then, but it's those guys, man. And Boo Buie, here's the problem with him. You can't really foul him because he makes 85% from the free throw line. And this is a Northwestern team that shoots 73% as a team. Not bad, not terrible, but not bad. And I go back to Indiana's guards. Something we talk about all the time is who steps up, who makes the play on defense, who's going to be guarding Buie most of the time. And I think it'll be a rotation like we've seen most of this year. And you've got to play a little bit of zone and just somebody pick him up. And that's where I think there's a lot of pressure down low on Sunday as well with Kel'el, Ware, Malik, Reneau, whoever standing down there, is when Boo Buie gets around one of our guards, because it's going to happen. When he blows by one of them, they've got to be ready. They've got to go straight up. They've got to defend, and they've got to get some block shots, and they cannot foul. Indiana can't afford to get in foul trouble in this game because I think we've got a size advantage here for the most part. Now, Matthew Nicholson, he's a 7-foot center. He's going to be down there for Northwestern, and he scores 5 points a game. He doesn't do a ton, right? He's not going to be just a killer guy down low. So I think Indiana's got some size. Northwestern plays with speed. They don't care about going in and banging bodies and trying to earn the tough two inside. And especially now, I expect them to shoot the ball like crazy, which is sort of scary, gives us a little PTSD, but Indiana's got to be ready for that. So offensively, I think a key to us is get down low, crash the paint, give it to Ware, give it to Reneau, give it to Mbako. I don't care. You're going to have a size advantage, and you've got to take advantage of that. And you've got to crush that on Sunday. I don't want to see us go to the paint the first half and then get away from it in the second half. I don't want to see us get to Kel'el Ware and then all of a sudden forget that he exists, or Malik Reneau, or whoever. And I think that gets into another point of whoever's the hot hand, get it to him. Whether that's those guys down low, whether that's Malik Reneau outside, whether it's Trey Galloway outside, or just getting to the bucket making shots, or one of those guards off the bench that's been playing really well. I don't care who it is. But Indiana's got a chance here. We have a really good chance to win this game. I don't see an official spread yet. I can pull one up. I use scoresandodds.com, and it's a pretty good site. I recommend you using it. And according to them, as I pull this up, ESPN, I'll give you that really quickly. ESPN gives Indiana, percentage-wise, according to their matchup predictor or whatever, gives Indiana a 45% chance to win. So not too bad. Not too bad. On this site, there's no betting or anything. You just choose. You can just look and see what the odds are as of right now. And as of right now in this recording, let's see if they've released one for Indiana and Northwestern. They have not. So if I had to guess, I would say Northwestern maybe a slight favorite on the road, but without one of their starting players, both teams not really playing well. Northwestern coming off a loss in their last game against Rutgers on the road, 63-60. And they have not been playing well. Northwestern hasn't. They have a win over Nebraska, which is good. They did beat Penn State, which Indiana struggled to do. And then they come off a loss against Rutgers. And if you remember, this is a Northwestern team that hung around with Purdue, at Purdue. And they gave up 105 points, which, it happens with Purdue sometimes. But I think I think we've got a chance here. I think we have a chance. And if we play our best basketball, if we play motivated, if we play like we want to be there, like we care, like we want to win this game, and like we understand that the season is up for grabs right now, if we play that way, we're going to win. If we play motivated basketball, we're going to win and win some games down this stretch. But that's my problem, is I don't have the confidence in that right now. And the reason I don't have that confidence is because we haven't seen it. They have not shown us that. Mike Woodson hasn't shown us that as a coach. Get fired up a little bit. Act like you want to be there. Act like you're frustrated. Act like you care that your team is playing bad and that they're not good right now, but still have opportunities in this season to do something with it. Act like that. Show some emotion. We've seen it off and on from the players. I look at Trey Galloway. We've seen that. I just got to get it more. And if that happens, Indiana's going to win this game. Indiana's going to win the next game, and the next game, and the next game, and the next game. And they can do that. And I think they have to do that if they want any chance to make a run and get into the NCAA tournament. Indiana hosting Northwestern on Sunday. Put on a performance. Show the fans that you want to play for the words across your chest, for the colors that you wear, for the building that you play in. Those things just haven't happened this year, and it's really upsetting. It is. It's really upsetting. It's really uncharacteristic of Indiana teams to not play that way and not to have that. And I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if there's a bad chemistry. I don't know if all the injuries are stacking up and kind of throwing the team out of rhythm. Maybe it's the coaching staff. I don't know. But I really do think it's a must-win game for Indiana. I think we got to have it. We got to have it because you're running out of time, man. You're running out of time and chances to do something with the season. And if you don't get this one, I just don't think you have a chance to get many more. Coming up on Locked On Hoosiers, final segment on the show, Indiana's got a top 25 point guard coming to campus this weekend. We'll tell you about him, plus what this weekend could mean for recruiting and what these last few home games mean for recruiting in the future of Indiana basketball. That's coming up on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is also brought to you by Gametime. They are the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Some of my favorite things are the easy-to-find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, views from all the seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation, even if you lose your job, Gametime's got you covered. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy. You know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Right now, all Gametime users and new customers get locked. If you use the code LOCKEDON, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. All right. So if you're a new customer at Gametime, download the app, use the code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and they're going to give you $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back into the final segment on this Friday edition of Locked On Hoosiers. I appreciate you being here. Be sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already on YouTube. Turn on notifications because we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. While there is a game happening this weekend between Indiana and Northwestern, there's also a big-time recruit on campus in Bloomington on an unofficial visit. All right, unofficial visit this weekend, but a top 20 prospect in 2025, Michael Brown, is going to be here. And he is from the Overtime Elite series. He's from those teams down there. So much talent. We know that. And he will be in Indiana on Sunday. Brown is from Overtime Elite. He will be here unofficially for a visit. And look, here's what's important is Mike Woodson and the staff, they've seen him before. They've gone and watched him. He is 6'2". He's a point guard, and he's ranked number 16th nationally in the 2025 class, and he'll be here on Sunday. We love that. We love the sound of that, right? Because Indiana needs some guard play, and they need it desperately because you've got guys leaving after this year, and look, it's just not where it needs to be. I don't think anybody can disagree with that the guard play is just not where it needs to be. It's not what it needs to be. We don't have the guys in here to compete in the Big Ten or really in college basketball with our guards right now. Just to show you how good this guy is and how much college exposure he's getting, listen to this offer list. It's unbelievable. Indiana, of course, Alabama, Ole Miss, Kansas, Auburn, Baylor, Florida, Georgia Tech, Kansas State, Michigan, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and others. I left about 8 of those out. He's getting interest from the biggest programs in the country, including us here in Indiana. So he's going to be here on Sunday. And you look at his last couple of games and what he's averaging this season, 13 points a game and 5 assists per game in overtime elite play. Hello. 13 points and 5 assists. We'll take that all night long. We'll take that every day and twice on Sunday, right? That is a perfect point guard statistic. Now, don't know his turnover numbers, but I'm sure they're good. And you know me, I love the turnover number, the assist to turnover ratio of 2-1 when it comes to a point guard. I think that's a perfect ratio for a point guard. And so what happens if he comes to Indiana? What happens if the Hoosiers can pull that off? He's a go-to starter next year. He's a guy that can walk in and start probably at any of those schools that I just listed and the other ones that are on the list too that I didn't say. He could be a day one starter. 6'2", yeah, a guy that can shoot, make plays, and make plays for his teammates as well. That's a perfect point guard to me. And I bring this up because we've been talking about how this game for Indiana against Northwestern is a must-win and a go-to game for the season, right, with the season on the line. But this is a massive recruiting day too. You have a chance to show this guy why he wants to be here, why he should come to Indiana while it's maybe not in its brightest moment, because the outlook on this program right now is not great. Just talk to people outside. Look at people outside. They feel bad for us because Indiana's not where it needs to be and not what it used to be in the college basketball landscape. Use this Sunday to start to change that. If you kind of influence this kid with the atmosphere and the way you play and the excitement and a win on your home floor late in Big Ten play and show him how exciting that can be, why would you not want to take that chance? Why would you not want to take that opportunity to prove that to him? And look, he's going to be seeing some great places. Look at this list again. I'm sure he's going to take visits to Kansas, to Auburn, Tennessee, Texas. I mean, some of the Kansas State, Alabama, some of the best atmospheres in college basketball. Indiana's up there, and this is not an official, so he's just coming to check it out and see what's up. But take advantage of that. Prove why Indiana's a place that players should want to be. Because let's face it, we've got to do some serious recruiting and catch up here. This season was not what we wanted it to be. There's talent, but we need more. And if Mike Woodson claims to be a great recruiter and he's out seeing all these kids all the time, we got to win some of those battles and get them here and then make them better when they get here. But that's a story, a conversation for a different day. You just got to get these guys here. And this is a perfect opportunity with Brown coming in. Again, top 2025 guard, 16th overall player in the class next year. And look, we're already into 2024. It's time to start making moves on these guys. And if you can't get them, you got to move on to somebody else and move on to 2026. I'm excited. I hope we get some words. I hope he speaks with some people at the game on Sunday, tells us what he thinks. And look, a win would go a long way. There's no doubt about that. A win would go a long way. You, the fans, if you're going to be there, would go a long way. And the current players on the team would go a long way as well. Show up, show off, get a game win in the Big Ten, and prove why a guy like this should want to be at Indiana. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. I appreciate you being here and making this your first listen each and every day. Indiana Northwestern on Sunday. We'll have a reaction video go up for you on Sunday. Audio will go live on Monday. So keep that in mind, that we'll have the video first on Sunday afternoon, evening after the game, and then the audio will go live on Monday morning like it always does. So looking forward to that. I think Indiana wins. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I'll give you my prediction. I think the Hoosiers win. I think they beat Northwestern. I think they take advantage of some injuries for the Cats and get a win that they desperately need. And we look ahead in the season. We'll stay alive on Sunday in Bloomington. So we'll have a reaction episode for you. Video Sunday, audio on Monday. Have a great weekend. And until then, Hoosiers fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.